Dharmasthala, earlier known as Kuduma, is a temple town in Dakshina Kannada district of Karnataka. The sleepy temple town has rocked its way into the headlines of national and international media for infamous reasons. There's nothing holy about it. There's nothing to be proud of. It's in the headlines because of a whistleblower recording statement in a court alleging mass burial of more than 100 people to wash away evidences of crime. As dirty as sexual abuse, beating, kidnapping, and brutal killing. And all of these happened not in 1 or 2 years, but were going on for decades now.
I am submitting this complaint with a heavy heart and deep moral burden. I can no longer carry the pain, threats, and guilt from the murders I witnessed and the bodies I was forced to bury. From 1995 to December 2014, I worked as a sanitation worker under the Dharmasthala temple administration. My duties began as routine cleaning near the Netravati river and surrounding areas, but over time they turned into something horrifying. I was ordered to dispose of dead bodies, many of which bore signs of brutal violence and sexual assault. At first, I believed the bodies were from suicides or accidents, but most were of women, many found naked or partially clothed, with signs of rape, strangulation, and acid burns.
Acting on his statement, the Karnataka government formed a special investigation team. They hit the ground running. The whistleblower identified spots where he claimed to have buried these bodies over a time period of 2 decades. Police and forensic teams started the exhumation process. And after 3 days of digging around rain-drenched forest, finally, partial human skeletal remains were found. Remains of people who in Dharmasthala were buried and forgotten. There were cases lodged and ignored and shoved away, like Ananya Bhatt, a first-year MBBS student from Udupi. Ananya came to Dharmasthala with a group of her friends in 2004 for a tour, but she never returned. Her mother Sujata's search for truth continues for 21 years now.
ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಾನು ಬಂದೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು 4 ಜನ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಗಳನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಕೈಯೆಲ್ಲ ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಹಾಕಿ ಕೈಯೆಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ಟ ಹಾಕಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಯಗಳಿದ್ದಾವೆ. ಅವಳು ಕೂಡ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 5 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟರು. ನಿನಗೆ ಜೀವ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೊರಟು ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ವಾರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರು. ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಯಾರೋ ಹಿಂದುಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಹೊಡೆದಾವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 8 ಸ್ಟಿಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
Her pleas were ignored. Her complaints were refused. But Sujata never gave up. As soon as the whistleblower's statement on 4th July became news, Ananya's mysterious disappearance also resurfaced. Sujata now has hope. A week after filing the complaint, the sanitation worker appeared in court in Belthangadi. His statement was recorded under Section 183 of the new Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita before a magistrate. The witness and legal team submitted the skeletal remains exhumed by the whistleblower at Belthangadi Police Headquarters. The forensic team investigated it.
I saw girls as young as 12 with school uniforms but no undergarments, and women with faces burned by acid, all buried or cremated under my forced supervision. I witnessed the murder of beggars, often strangled using towels, in locked rooms. I buried or burned hundreds of bodies in and around Dharmasthala, many times using diesel to incinerate them completely.
The demand to exhume remains of the alleged victims grew stronger. Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah ordered a full-fledged SIT probe into charges of disappearances, sexual abuse, and murders. A special investigation team headed by top cop P. Mohanty started the investigation. The whistleblower came forward and registered a case at Dharmasthala police station on 4th of July. A week later, his testimony was recorded in Belthangadi court on 11th July. 8 days later, acting on his testimony and evidence of exhumed remains produced by the whistleblower, the special investigation team was formed on 19th July. 9 days later, he was interrogated by the SIT team, and the whistleblower disclosed 15 spots of burial on 28 July. 13 out of 15 spots identified. The very next day, the exhumation process started. In the first 2 days of digging around the first 5 spots, the SIT team could recover a PAN card and a debit card. They were identified to have been of a deceased young man from a neighboring village. The man reportedly died of jaundice in March 2025. His parents confirmed that the PAN card was his and the debit card was of his mother. But there were no skeletal remains. And then on 31st July, 25 bones of human skeletal remains were recovered from the 6th spot.
The most important objectives of exhumation process is more than finding the cause of death, it is the identification of the skeletal remains. Means once we identify the skeletal remains, the next important process is establishing the identity of the person to whom does it belong to. So this is the most important objectives of exhumation besides the cause of death.
It rains heavily for some time and then stops before it starts again, especially in the monsoon season. All the spots identified by the whistleblower are around river Netravati, and this is in the downstream of the river. Bodies which was buried is a decade ago, close to 15 to 20 years. Finding all those remains in this heavy rain and soil erosion is challenging. And what is even more challenging is that with this skeletal remains and matching with the missing person will be a long drawn process.
Meandering hilly roads with rain-drenched green forest on both sides is heavy with the sadness of lost lives, hopes, aspirations, and dreams. Drops of rain lash on the windscreen, and then there emerges a big poster with Saujanya's photo, smiling down on the serenity. It guides one to her home, a home she never returned to alive. When she was only 17 years old, her mother, Kusumavati, stands by the door, facing her daughter's photograph. Saujanya, captured for eternity, is a splitting image of her mother. A police case was registered only when her lifeless body was found. Postmortem revealed that Saujanya was raped and murdered. Kusumavati's fight for justice started instantly, and it was a long, long road.
ಅನಂತರ ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆಯವರನ್ನು ಅವರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಮರುದಿವಸ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಗಳನ್ನು ನಾಳೆ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟ್ಲಿಗೆ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದವರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಕೇಳಿ ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವರನ್ನು ನಾಳೆ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆಗೆ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಅದೇ ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಪೂಜಾರಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರನ್ನು ಯಾರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಒಳಗೆ ಬಿಡಬೇಡಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಅವರು ಮಾನಸಿಕವಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಅವ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆಯವರನ್ನು ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಸಭೆ ಮಾಡಿದರು ಉಜಿರೆ ಬೆಳ್ತಂಗಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ರಾವ್ 11ನೇ ತಾರೀಕಿಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ್ ರಾವ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದ ಆರೋಪಿ ಅಂತ. ಅದು ಇವರು ಅತ್ಯಾಚಾರಿಗಳೇ ಅವನನ್ನು ಹಿಡಿದುಕೊಟ್ಟವರು. ಅವನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಂತ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಆ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ.
Santosh Rao served more than a decade in jail before he was acquitted. Till date, Kusumavati believes Santosh was not the culprit, or at least not the only one. And she claims to have strong reasons for this.
ಅಂದರೆ ಸರ್, ನನಗೆ ನನ್ನ ತಂದೆಯವರಿಗೆ ನೇತ್ರಾವತಿ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಇತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಅದೇ ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಹೆಂಗಸರ ಹೆಣ್ಣಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಗಂಡಸರ ಹೆಣ್ಣಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಲಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ರೋಡ್ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬಂಡೆ ಕಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು. ಆ ಬಂಡೆ ಕಲ್ಲು ಕೂಡ ಒಂದು ಗಂಡಸಿನ ಹೆಣ ಇತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಹೋಗಿತ್ತು ಒಂದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಹೆಣ್ಮಗಳದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ರೂಮ್ ಬಾಯಿ ಅವನವ್ರು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ನೇತ್ರಾವತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ನಾನೊಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಣ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ. ನೋಡಮ್ಮ, ನೀನು ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡ, ನಾಳೆ ನೀನು ಕೂಡ ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ಆ ರೀತಿಯೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಬೆದರಿಸಿದರು, ಹೆದರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸತ್ಯ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಾಳೆ ಉಳಿಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಜೀವ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾಳೆ.
But Saujanya became a rallying point. A story that people of Dharmasthala refused to give up. Even today, people from around Karnataka who come to the temple town make it a point to visit Saujanya's house. Kusumavati has turned her home into a living memorial for her daughter.
ಇದು ನಮಗೆ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಒಂದು 6ನೇ ತಾರೀಕಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಭೆ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೇತ್ರಾವತಿಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ವಾಹನ ಜಾತ್ರೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಅವತ್ತು ಇವರು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಅವರು.
What began as a justice to Saujanya, a student who was raped and murdered in the year 2012, now which has led to a mass burial case. A former sanitation worker has alleged that he has buried hundreds of dead bodies, and the family of Saujanya believe that through this particular SIT investigation, they might get justice.
The rain is constant. It drizzles and washes away the guilt and forgetfulness of the town that needs to be healed. The investigation of the SIT is the first step to the road of closure. People line up in the rain in the middle of the working day to watch the investigators digging mud miles and miles away. The camera zooms in to try and locate them in the middle of the green, dense foliage. They dig and dig more. They got JCB in where possible, and also the sniffer dogs. and it poured some more. The digging point got covered in muddy water from Netravati river.
The recovery or exhumation process has got a protocol. And even at this digging, they have to clear the surrounding area apart from the area where they're digging. That clearing I haven't seen in the video. That is one aspect. And that to cover the area in a places where the possibility of rains are there. Because and even in these areas where the undertable water will rush after 4 to 5 feet because the river is next to the grave. So in those instances, they have to drain the water. Any wetness of the grave, it is very difficult to unearth the bones because the bones get deeply buried by the pressure of the person who gets inside the grave for the digging.
Another case reappeared. Its 39-year-old Padmalata was a resident of Bolyaru village in Dharmasthala, Belthangadi Taluk of Dakshina Kannada district. She too went mysteriously missing on December 22nd, 1986, after she left for Ujire College. Despite an extensive search, she remained untraceable.
ಆ ದಿನ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ 22 1986 ಆ ದಿನ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಡೇಗೆ ಪದ್ಮಲತಾ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದರು. ಹೋದವರು ಸೇಮ್ ಡೇ ಮನೆಗೆ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಬರ್ತೇನೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅವರು ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಆದರೂ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬರದಿರುವಾಗ ಮತ್ತು ಅಪ್ಪ ಮನೆಯವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅವಳು ಉಜಿರೆಯಿಂದ ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳವರೆಗೆ ಬಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾಳೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಜೀಪಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದು. ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರು ಧರ್ಮಸ್ಥಳಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೇಳುವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಯಾರೂ ಹೇಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಾವ ಅದೇ ಬಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿದ್ದವರು, ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡಿದ್ದರು, ಬಂದು ಇಳಿದದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಮತ್ತು ಬಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಇತ್ತು, ಬಸ್ ಪಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಅವಳದ್ದು ಪಾಸ್ ಇದ್ದು ನಂಬರ್. ಹಾಗೆ ಅವಳು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಇಳಿದಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಶೂರ್ ಆಯಿತು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಅವಳು ಏನಾಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಏನಾಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ.
Padmalata, Ananya, Saujanya are just the tip of the iceberg.
Saujanya, Padmalata, Vedavalli bodies were found. Unfortunately, Ananya Bhatt's body is still missing. Her mother has already registered a complaint at Belthangadi police station. Now, Whistleblower, who has claimed that he has buried close to 100 dead bodies, has also taken a set of remains to the police station while registering a statement. And one set was found at spot number 6. Now it will be crucial for the police as well as the SIT team to match with the evidence and the statement that was provided by the whistleblower with the skeletal remains which was found. And this is going to be a slow process.
The process has always been full of unpredictable twists and turns. And that's what it has been for decades now. Witnesses and evidence would disappear. Frustrating any attempt to investigate. Girish Mattanavar knows it best. He used to be the sub-inspector in Karnataka police force before he resigned.
In the year 1979, teacher Vedvalli, the teacher of the same institute, was gang raped and burnt alive. No justice found and accused not found. It is the report of police. Next, in the year 1987, crime number 18/87, Padmalata rape and murder case. Her dead body was found after long 53 days of her missing. She was, everybody has seen who has abducted. The chief of the institution has abducted. The localites have seen it, and of course we have to believe. Yeah, definitely. At that time also, in that case, it was handed over to COD, and their name also, the main perpetrator's name was also there in the FIR. They got it quashed in the High Court. And there was a COD inquiry, End result was accused not found. Then double murder case, just 21 days before Saujanya's rape and murder case. Double murder of elephant who looks into elephant, Ane Mauta. Double murder case, brother Narayana, sister Yamuna, both were brutally killed. There in that case also accused not found. Sir, is it possible that in a same place continuously rape and murder are happening, accused not found? Is it possible?
He has now joined the People's Movement for Justice. There are too many cases of mysterious deaths, and the local authorities seem to have blindsided all. The Dharmasthala Gram Panchayat issued a clarification, claiming that all cremations, even of the unidentified, were done legally and under police watch.
ಕಕ್ಷಿದಾರರು ಬಂದು ಆ ಬಾಡಿಯನ್ನು ತೆಗೆಸ್ತಾರೆ, ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವರು ಊರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಂತ ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ದಾಖಲೆಗಳಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಂತ ಪೂರ್ವ ದಾಖಲೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಇತ್ತು, ನಾವಲ್ಲ.
A week later, the Panchayat chief made a complete U-turn and claimed they have only provided people to make police bury unidentified bodies.
Really, we have all the records in Dharmasthala Grama Panchayat, which are unclaimed body has buried. In that, all the documents, nearly 277 bodies are buried 1985 to 2025. So we have all the records. In record, one police UDR number and their request form. Okay. Next one, we paid the some amount to the labor. So we have all these records in our panchayat.
In another twist to the tale, an RTI document showed that the police has no record of unidentified death cases.
India Today accessed an RTI copy which was filed by an activist at Belatangadi police station, where he has requested the police to give details of post-mortem, handbills and the efforts made by the police to trace the families of unknown dead bodies from year 2000 to 2015. In a response, Belatangadi police said that they have destroyed all those criminal case records as an administrative circular. They have not digitized those documents. Many experts feel that they cannot destroy without digitizing, and it must be preserved as those documents are sacrosanct. And this particular act of police has been questioned, and this will be a major setback in the mass burial case of Dharmasthala.
Forensic experts also believe it to be an impossible task to ascertain any sexual assault or strangulation from skeletal remains.
Depends on what type of bones they got. If they got the skull and the hip bones, definitely 100% accuracy with the age and the sex can be made out. But if they got only the rib cage bones or small bones from the hands or the toes, absolutely nothing can be inferred. So, and only the long bones they got, that is hands, from the limbs, and even only with the limb bones, hardly around 60% accuracy we can give. But skull and the hip bones are very vital, and that will help in the identification. And if that is not recovered, that will be a very difficult for them to go ahead with the investigation pertaining to the accuracy. That will entirely depend on the DNA.
Netravati River holds special significance for the people of this region. It's supposed to wash away the sins with a single dip. People throng to its bank for the holy cleansing. The river has also been witness to all these alleged crimes. The spots identified by the whistleblower run along the riverside. In total, 15 sites have been identified by the whistleblower, spread around the Netravati river bank and the forest nearby. Locations 1 to 8 are along the banks of the Netravati River. Location 9 to 12 are beside the highway near the Netravati River. The 13th location is on the road leading from Netravati to Ajukuri. Location 14 and 15 are in the Kanyadi area near the highway. SIT has identified 13 out of 15 spots, and their exhumation process continues daily despite continuous rain. Despite the challenges and criticism, the fact that the process of investigation has finally started provides a glimmer of hope for all victim families and locals who have been fighting for justice.
ये देखिए अभी एसआईटी बन गया जब भी सौजन्य का एक हड़ताल गिरताल हम लोग एजिटेशन कब से ज़्यादा किया 13 साल से लड़ रहे हैं हम लोग इसका वजह से आज एसआईटी बन गया बहुत अच्छा टीम है बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहा है महसूस है कि हम लोग को न्याय मिल जाएगा
ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೇವರ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಥಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಅತ್ಯಾಚಾರ ಕೊಲೆ ಪ್ರಕರಣ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸರಿಯಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೇವರ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾದಂಥ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜೀವಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯ ತೆಗೆಸಿಕೊಡಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಾನು SIT ಅವರ ಹತ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕೈ ಮುಗಿದು ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನು 13 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಬೇಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನನಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಕೊಡಿಸಿ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಕೊಡಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆದಂಥ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಸಿಗಬೇಕು ಆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನಂತ ಸಂತೋಷ ಪಡುವ ತಾಯಿ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅದನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನ್ಯಾಯ ಸಿಗಬೇಕಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್ ಇಡೀ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ SITಗೆ ಮನವಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ
Truth is murky and buried deep under mud. Attempts have been made by the alleged perpetrators to keep it buried and forgotten. Dharmasthala, after decades of living in silent tolerance, wants to move on with a closure that heals. That is never forgotten. That cleanses its name and identity of being the mass burial ground of innocence.